So, hey friendlies, how's up? Sorry about interrupting the live stream there. I got upstairs and the room was full of baby puke. She's going to sleep now and I may end up having to rush off again. I may not. The stressful thing is when you have a kid with a life-threatening allergy, if the kid is puking, you have to sort of do this checklist with each other. What did she have for supper? Did she pick something off the floor? What was dessert? Is she sick? Is she reacting to something? Anyways, it seems like she's just not feeling well. And she's going to sleep now. She threw up a lot. I didn't know that such a small body could puke that much. But anyway, there we are. So if anyone is up and comes back on, I still like to get to talk about trees a little bit. Hi, Austin. How's it going? Unless, of course, the kid starts puking again, in which case I will have to disappear on you guys again. Hey, Tyler. Were you on the live stream before when I got pulled off suddenly? Your tamarack? You like the tamarack? Nice. Huh? You tried calling me? Did you put a 1 before the area code? Let me just check. Oh, on IG. My phone was down here while I was upstairs dealing with a puking child. Let me just check that. Hey, James Fry from England. Nice. Nice. What are you doing up at this hour? Mike Morton likes the white pine. Welcome to the live stream, by the way. Yeah, Tyler, my phone was down here while I was upstairs dealing with the baby puke. I like the white pine as well. I like making tea from the needles. Mike, you probably make pine tea a lot. Do you use just the needles, or do you just pull off a twig and throw it in the boiling water? And do you chop the needles, or do you put them in whole? Because it seems that everyone's got their own method. If I have time, can I give you a call? Can we do it at right after 11? Will you still be up? It's 10:15 right now. Let me just see if you just toss them in whole. But pine tea and spruce tea and stuff, it's more of what in Quebec we call a tisane. Is that like a herbal tea? Is that what it is? Yeah, I think it's called a herbal tea. So do you ever drink like a herbal tea, like a chamomile or something? Or do you don't do coffee or tea in any way? Austin, what is it about the tamarack that you like? Because what I wanted to say in the earlier live stream was that you use a little French press and you break the needles from the twig. Okay. Mike doesn't touch any coffee or tea. Okay. What my favorite trees are not necessarily due to any kind of usefulness. The birch is a very useful tree and I love it for that, but I also just love the look of it. It just sort of in stark contrast to the darkness all around it. Hey Tyler, welcome back. I like the cedar because of how first of all, when you're burning it, it smells so good. I almost wish I could eat it. But even when it's growing, the smell of it and the look of it bring me back to younger days. When I was kicking around British Columbia. The balsam I love for the usefulness, for the tea, for those little blisters of sap, resin. but also just the smell of it is so evocative of the woods to me, you know. Um, Yellow birch, yeah, I like the yellow birch as well. I really like the white paper birch, though. It's just yes, there's a purity of beauty in that bark, and how when you touch it, it almost feels like you're touching a pad of paper. There's like this just a little bit of give, you know. Uh, Let me see, what are we saying? James Fry, what we're talking about tonight, by the way, is trees. So what's your favorite tree? Because you guys have slightly different trees, and you have different names for some of the same trees. Like you've got the lime tree, which we call, oh crap, I've forgotten. Man, I'm so bad at that. Like I'll just totally forget the names of everything. Uh, Now, why the hell would YouTube have tried to block what Mike Morton just said? Black spruce is gorgeous. Black spruce to me is a boreal tree, though. Um, I guess it doesn't only grow in the boreal. It's just that's where I was. Well, am I mixing that up with something? I don't know. Am I mixing that up with something? Hey, Martin. James, I'm drinking a pumpkin beer because this came from a pumpkin orchard, pumpkin field, pumpkin patch. But I do like my approach to beer is generally the darker the better. I like stouts. I like a good porter. Once you get to IPAs, I'm kind of like no. Jack Pine, yeah. Mike, you like all the best trees, all the nicest ones. Yellow birch smells and tastes just like mint if you break and chew on a green twig. I am going to try that. I did not know that, and I'm going to try it. Absolutely. For those who are just joining, I just want to say I may get called away again if the baby is puking her little guts out again. I'm back because it really looks like it wasn't an allergic reaction. So, but yeah, James, I don't like IPA. I don't like a lot of the really light beers. I really don't like stuff like Corona. Do you know how many needles to a bunch on white pine? Is that one 5 or is that one 3? I'm gonna look it up for you. I kind of feel that it's 3, but pitch pine. What? Pond pine, also known as marsh pine, table mountain pine, red pine. There are some red pines growing down the street from me at the local um, like sports center. White spruce, very nice tree. Norway spruce. Those are not really the pines, so longleaf pine. Do 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 do. Gonna look that up for you. Scotch pine, eastern white pine. That's what we got around here. Let me see. 5-inch bundles. Wait, no, 5 in a bundle. Okay, so white pine is the 5. So I guess that's the red is the 3 then. Let me take a look. Oh, James, you like red oak? Yeah, that's a nice tree. Of course, Martin has a vid on making a tea out of. I'll take a look at that. One pine you don't really want to make a tea out of is the ponderosa. It has been known to cause. Hey Nick, how's it going? Ponderosa pine. If a pregnant woman drinks a lot of it, okay, it has to be a lot. You can abort the fetus apparently. By which I mean it has been known to abort fetuses in cattle, I guess, who've been munching on the leaves or something. My favorite ornamental. My favorite ornamental doesn't grow around here. It's called, I think, a monkey puzzle. One of my uncles had one, and that's a really cool tree, but you can't grow it here. I've seen ginkgos before, and man, they're cool. Those leaves, those are cool. There's a Japanese oak, if I remember correctly. I may be wrong about that, but I think there's a Japanese oak. At least I think it was called a Japanese oak. I'm into oaks of all kinds. I like oaks. I like the leaves. I like the bark. Um, Austin, you like a Japanese oak and ginkgo? What? Come on, really? Bruce. I like. There's one out the front of my house right now. Well, right now, there's been one out that front of my house for years. Nick Hyatt has been painting poppies for a recent commission. Interesting. Why poppies? I mean, I know why Canadians do poppies in November, but why would an American want poppies? Oh, Japanese maple. Okay. I know that there's a kind of Japanese oak that I've seen. That's not the actual name of it, but it is an oak, a Japanese oak, and I think it gets used in Japanese axe handles a lot. Oak is an interesting wood. Like when you're working with it, it seems really kind of porous to me. It's not as like you can get it smooth and everything, but it's got a real interesting texture, and it beats the crap out of my tools compared to like pine and stuff like that. The monkey puzzle grows well in England, but they don't fruit. Okay. No, I think blue spruce and Norway spruce are different. I'm just going to look that up right now because I've never heard of the blue spruce being called the. Because I seem to remember the Norway spruce being very, very different. By the way, the white spruce. Here's a little piece of trivia for you. It's also called the Canadian spruce. And the skunk spruce too, by the way. Norway spruce. Because I think that the I'm just looking to see if there's a blue spruce in here. Because I think that it'll tell me. No, it doesn't say that blue spruce is a different name for it. I seem to remember that the cones were more ponderous on a Norway spruce than on a blue. Red spruce, black spruce, jack pine, sand pine, shortleaf pine. I don't know. Oak and red. Why is YouTube hiding these? Oh no, I hit it. I sorry, I didn't mean to delete it. Can I undo that? Oh rats. Tyler, I'm adding you as a moderator. See if you can undo the fact that I just erased your very innocuous message. What? For those of you who are wondering what I just stupidly erased, here it is. This is what Tyler says. It's probably about death. YouTube is probably like planes, death, and I think you're talking about like blowing up a wedding somewhere or something with a drone. Rats. Okay. For tonight, you can remain a moderator just as a way of me saying sorry for erasing your message. Okay, Nick, that's interesting about poppies because there was a poem written by a Canadian soldier in World War I about poppies that has inspired pretty much all Commonwealth countries, I think, to wear a poppy going up to Remembrance Day, and has given the poppy sort of an association with death, or with remembrance at any rate. Unfortunately, he died during the war, but not of being shot. He died of an illness that escapes me right now. Tyler's going to go totally rogue now that he's got mod privileges, right? Let me see. Took a couple of forestry courses in college. Man, I would love to have had that in my cégep or university. Loved it. I would have taken those. African ironwood sometime. That's tough too. My Woodlore clone has a desert ironwood handle, and I really like desert ironwood. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's funny because on a lot of things I prefer a much more figured wood, but there's something about desert ironwood that just, man, I love it. The only problem is that I have black scales on the knife, and I kind of, because of the ironwood, I kind of wish I'd gone for yellow. Or rather, I requested yellow, but it was late in the build, and he'd already stuck black liners on. I was like, geez, I wish I'd been faster on the draw. Don't abuse unless it's for the good cause. Yes, the cause. There's a type of ironwood that grows in the north. Really? Do you know what it's called, Austin? The thing is that the term ironwood hits on a lot of different kinds of wood. Since some of you, well, a lot of you who are on right now weren't on earlier, I'm just going to paste this up again and invite you to take a look. This is Montreal's new flag. We got it in 2017. It's a very small change from the previous flag that we'd had since like 38 or 39. But without looking at the description, what would you say the tree is in the middle of that flag? All you guys who weren't on before. You know, I'm going to look up ironwood because there's a bunch of different kinds of ironwood. Oh, there's a whole lot of kinds of ironwood. Holy crap. And like there are 5 that are just called ironwood. One that's called ironwood in Australia. Jeez. Desert ironwood, also called Arizona or Sonora ironwood or Mexican ironwood. Olnea tesota. Let me just take a look and make sure that we're talking about the same thing. Come on, man. Give me a picture of a piece of wood. Silliness. But yeah, anyone who wasn't in tonight's first live stream, tell me what the tree in the middle of that flag looks like without looking at the description, because it makes no sense. I'm just looking to see if there's a Australia virginiana, category trees of eastern Canada, also known as the American hop hornbeam. But Austria are the trees that are generally called ironwoods. Okay, other names include eastern hop hornbeam, hardhack in New England, ironwood, and leverwood. I'm going to just pop this one up for you guys. And so, Simone, this is probably the one you were looking for. I wonder how my baby is doing. Let me see. Blue Beach? No. Maybe that Blue Beach? No. Hey, Dr. Sharp, how's it going? But yeah, here's the thing, like, by the way, Tyler, you can post URLs too, now that you're, a mod for the evening. Tell you what, everyone's a mod for the evening. Click, 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 click. That would be the worst. That would be the channel takeover that I've been dreading. Yeah, we're yapping about trees tonight, Dr. Sharp. I want to know everyone's favorite trees. I want to know what their Guys, how good is your tree ID? I asked this in the previous live stream tonight, but all right, see you, Serge. But Serge, before you go, how's your tree ID? With and without leaves. He's saying goodnight all. Come on, don't let him leave until he tells us how his tree ID is. Austin, no. I mean, it looks like that, right? Especially because, the flag of Lebanon with the cedars, it looks like that. That is supposed to be a white pine. Does that look like a white pine to you? Because it doesn't look like a white pine to me. It looks terribly unlike a pine of any sort. Nick retracted a message? What? But the history of these live streams and the message retractions. Nick retracted a message. If Serge is still here, he would be laughing his ass off. See, Tyler, I'm with you. My tree ID without leaves is terrible. Terrible. Fair enough, Dr. Sharp. Wait. Simon has just put up something from the University of Guelph. Ironwood. Oh, yes. Okay, it's exactly the same tree that I put up. Yes. Austriana virginiana. I've seen this tree before, too. Of course, they only talk about Ontario distribution because they're the Arboretum at the University of Guelph. It looks like we've got a bit of a motif going that a lot of people's tree ID is not so great, especially without leaves. All right, good night, Serge. I'll speak to you later. And we should probably hit the woods again. Maybe do an overnighter. He's gone. I just saw my number drop by 1. He's gone. Yeah, if it's not like we have to get Peterson plant guides. This is a pretty good tree ID book, guys. This is my favorite tree ID book What? My favorite tree ID book that I have is this one. But that is due to comfort because I've had this one for a long time. Okay, this book was most likely first made in the 50s sometime because like the art in it has that sort of era look to it. Let's see if there's a first edition. Copyright 2002. No. I can't believe that these are golden books. Like the... Did you guys see that? My screen just went white for a second. Tyler, how often are you going to quote me on that? A friend had 20 to 30 on a watt rate plan to build a house. It took 3 years to find someone or a way to cut these down. Did he keep the wood? I would make knife handles out of that wood. Austin, the Audubon Guide is this National Audubon Society. Field Guide to Trees. This is the eastern region of North America. Because they've got an eastern region, they've got a western region. And this book is fabulous. This is fantastic. The only reason this is not my favorite book is because it operates differently from my old one. And I'm just this one there's a real like fits me like a glove aspect to this book. And it looks real old to me. Like they haven't changed the design in decades. But I can't find like a first edition mark on it anywhere. Oh, and this is cool. At the back, can you see this? There's inches. And here's metric. Because how often are you like, white pine needles are 6 inches long. Well, you can just flip to the back of the book and stick a needle on there, and okay, this is 6 inches long. That's fabulous. This I don't think has that. But I think that every tree ID guide should have that. Another thing about this National Audubon book is that, although it's very, very stylish and everything, the fact that, you know, if I'm carrying this into the woods, because I carry a tree ID book with me in the woods, where it's most useful. This, yikes, forget about it, gone. And then, right, like the only way I know what I got is by looking at that. It's a very nicely designed book. It's a beautiful book. It's an expensive book. It's 23 Canadian dollars. 23 Canadian dollars, or a 1995 US. Whereas the other one is a little less, but this one should be a better format, because like this is on my my Fjallraven pants, you know, my Vita Pros, into the pocket, right? This is a little wider. It's a little less wieldy, more unwieldy when it comes to, but except that it's thinner, so it bends easier. It's just easier in the hands. Yeah, I wish I could find out what year this book came out, because it really does look like a 50s or 60s era book, and I can't find a even the typesetting. Focus. This looks terrible, right, guys? God damn it! There we go. Like even the typesetting looks like really old-fashioned. Like if this was designed recently, it was someone who loved him some 50s era stuff. Did that show up backwards, by the way? Because that would be funny if even YouTube was doing that to me, right? Yellow birch. We've been talking about yellow birch. This I cannot. I love this book. I love this book. I love the old-fashioned look of it. I love the feel of it. I love the fact that I can flip through and just find what I'm looking for in this book. Whereas this one really makes me work for it, because what it's got is, at the front, you got all your photos. And by the way, photos are an excellent way to do this, right? It's just so good. Bloody gorgeous, right? The black is photos. But then at the back is where the actual tree information is. And it's probably organized in exactly the same way, but it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it is, mostly because of all these photos up here at the front. This one is bona fide old. Published by Pocket Books, printed in USA. This book is from... What tree has no leaves? What tree would make 100 small homes? What wood burns brightly when green? What bark is as lasting as rock? Come on, give me a year. Oh, wow, listen to this. You can get any title in print and pocketbook editions. Simply send retail price, local sales tax, if any, plus 25 cents to cover mailing and handling costs to the mail service department. That is amazing. That's a piece at a time. First printing, March 1953. Sixth printing, October 9. So this one here is from 1972. This printing is 1972, which is hilarious because I'm a 1972 edition. Oh, interesting. The pocketbook edition was the first pocketbook edition was 1953, but the first actual edition, The Pocket Guide to Trees, original title, American Trees, A Book of Discovery by Dodd and Mead, 1952. And it also very much, like they didn't redesign it between the 50s and the 70s. But this one I'm afraid to bring around. It's got photographs. This one I'm afraid to bring because it's 47 years old. It's starting to come apart at the seams. You know, and I don't want to carry it into the woods and have it split into two parts on me. So this one stays at home, and I almost never crack the cover because I don't want to damage it. because it's as old as I am and it's as fragile as I am. Let me take a look. Back to Dr. Sharp saying my tree idea is not great even with a sign nailed to it, which by the way is hilarious. As often as I fail to say something properly. Okay, Tyler. Okay, see what it's going to be. He ended up hiring a structural demolition company to shear them out. Aye, man. Austin, you say you've got the same and it's great. You're talking about this beautiful one here? They're bird, or no, you've got this one. They're bird guide. Well, yeah, they kind of made their name on bird guides, didn't they? I've got their bird guide. No, before I lost my real phone, I had their bird guide on my phone, and it's just National Audubon really knows how to make good looking stuff, you know? Are they a stop yawning? Are they a nonprofit? Are they a nonprofit? Their information is fabulous, though. Those trees went down 20-ish years ago. Yeah, I don't know how that happened. How you were published? How your post appeared twice with Austin in between. That was weird, right? Speaking of typeset, favorite old timey fonts. I like I'm a little Helvetica out. I'm a little Times out. I used to work in design, so I knew a lot about fonts, but when I stopped working in design, there's a font that's kind of nicely spaced that's like a 50s era font. It was on a lot of buildings built in Montreal, like the ICAO building and stuff. It had a real sort of mid-century brutalism appeal that I really liked. I like fonts like the one I use in my videos that have real clean lines, and like the W's and the N's and stuff come to actual points at the acute angles instead of like, in Helvetica they're squared off. No, I want points. I want my O's to be perfect circles. I don't want any, tall, thin, oval O's. And I don't want Helvetica, though I respect Helvetica. It's been around forever, Comic Sans? No way. Boom, 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 boom. Hold on a second. Simon likes Courier and Helvetica. Courier is not really all that old. It's old because it was an original Mac font. Why not restitching this book? Because I don't have money. If I had money, I would say, Tyler, recover this for me, and I want that picture on the front and that on the back. There's a bookbinder somewhere in town that does that, right? They'll rebind a book and maintain the front and back and just put it on like a cover that's more like this, But also, I don't know if it's, I've got two great tree guides. Why would I throw money at this one when I can just have it in its original state sitting there on my shelf, slowly moldering away? Merriweather. I don't know what that one is. I'm gonna look it up. Merriweather font. I will look that up right now. Merriweather. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's a classic. But it's not really an old one, is it? Is it a bona fide old one that they've? Oh, it's beautiful. Holy crap! But I think this is a screen era font, isn't it? Oh, they make a sans serif version. Oh, sans serif. The Merriweather Sans is Beautiful. Can I have it, or do I have to spend money on it? Man, whew, look at that. That's a nice font. I also don't like. I don't love Helvetica. I respect Helvetica. Book by the former chief forester of the USFS. He wrote a book called. Oh, you can't remember. Just let me take a look at something here. There's no author on this one, is there? No, that's boom da bam da boom da ba bam bam. Well, this author, Albert E. Little, was chief dendrologist of the U.S. Forest Service. After retiring, he served as a research associate in the Department of Botany, U.S. National Museum of Natural History, Smithsonian Institution. Man, could you imagine working in a place like the Smithsonian or a national research lab? That would be cool. That would, man, I have a lot of respect for research. I have a lot of respect for science. I have a lot of respect for scientists. Side note, the word scientist was actually coined for a female studier of the sciences at a time when male scientists were still called men of science. But that's really boring. I think it's a really interesting point, but what else? So how do you use this font? You select this font, and then what? Then what? What do you do then? Oh, I see. Sorry, I'm at like fonts.google.com, so it's telling me how to use them in my web stuff. But yeah, so this one, I like to walk through the forest with this in my pocket and just, try to look up something that I'm looking at, like a West Indies mahogany, which I've never seen in the wild. I was watching a TED Talk once. I don't remember what it was even about, but I do remember him talking about trees and saying that, Toward a Natural Forest by Jim Furnish. Excuse me while I copy that for later. But one thing, and it was a very good talk, so the fact that I don't remember any of it is like, ugh. But he said something really interesting. He said that, like, the tree is this statement has informed a lot of the way I view the world. He said that the tree is the perfect life form. Using nothing but water, soil, and sun, it makes its own food. It helps to it helps to manage the weather. It's just like, it's a miraculous life form. And so what do? We cut it down and turn it into paper. And that is sort of that very basic statement has, informed my worldview ever since I saw that talk. Because, trees, man, you put a tree in the front or the back of your house a certain number of feet away so that it acts as a windbreak or a snow break. Too close doesn't work so well. Too far doesn't work at all. They grow forever. A street lined with trees will be like a degree or two cooler than the surrounding concrete nightmare. They cost nothing to grow because they make their own sugars, sunlight, water, nutrients from the soil, and that's all it takes, and they become huge. the leaves fall on your lawn if you don't rake them up, then over the winter they give your lawn nutrients. And paper. Paper is something that very often, if you're writing something down, I mean, old school with an actual pen, chances are you've thrown away 2 pages before you get a good one out. And the idea of these brilliant, majestic things being turned into this envelope that I've written all over. This envelope that I've written all over. Whoops. It's okay. Has the wrong address on it. That's why it took so long to get to me. Do you know what I'm saying? This drawing by my daughter that I'll keep forever, probably. So that doesn't really, but like for every book, there's like a billion back of the envelope, calculations that you do, then enter into a computer somewhere and throw away the paper. Does that seem right? And the stuff that they're discovering about how, when a tree is sick, the other trees around it will sort of try to help it, and how there's sort of some weird, really basic communication going on across a forest. I'm like, what kind of tinfoil hat stuff is this? Except it's not tinfoil hat people saying this. We're in the early days of discovering things about trees that the thing is, we're not going to rethink our relationship with trees because big business is still planting them and cutting them down, planting them and cutting them down. Every Christmas, families like mine still get a tree that was farmed, grown, and then cut down. Metachlorians. What? I think the metachlorians are the worst idea. Oh, I can actually download the entire family? What? Good old 1001 fonts, eh? I do love me that Meriwether song. I had a Norway maple out the front of my house for a long time. Well, it's been out the front. It had been out the front of my house since probably 1960, 1961, maybe, because Drapo, the mayor Drapo, filled this town with Norway maples because they grow very fast, and he needed the town to be green for Expo 67, or maybe it's the Olympics in 76. No, it was Expo 67. And now all these Norway maples have reached the end of their lives because fast growing, but die young, right? And I hate the Norway maple. I think it's a weed. It drops so many helicopters, and it does it twice a bloody year. And so they just cover the yard, and if you don't get them up, they start to grow. They germinate. And one day I went out to work in the front yard and to pull up all these stupid little maples growing, and I counted 212 tiny maple saplings, tiny bloody Norway maple saplings. And they're not from here. It's not an indigenous tree. The Norway maple is an ornamental. And I think that as my philosophy has changed over years, and I started to care about this kind of stuff, I've decided that I want the stuff that I plant, trees, plants, of any kind, to be indigenous. I want them to suit the area naturally. With the government, they've taken out my Norway maple. They took it out a few years ago. I finally ground out the stump last summer, and about 3 weeks ago planted me Oh, tamahawk. What's it called? It looks very mapley, but the leaves are much, much larger. It's sort of in the same family. Shite. What's it called? I keep wanting to say like a simonac, but that's a French swear word. A celiac? No. Hey, Mike. Hi with Mike. How's it going? Jesus, what the hell is it called? Is the leaf that's the symbol of the New York City Parks Department, or it used to be. I think it's not anymore. Bloody sin. What the hell is that tree called? Sycamore. Thank you, Nick. Nick, come on, man. Thanks. Good thing you're here, Nick. Sycamore, not a sumac. If I had a sumac, I'd be making lemonade all year. Know what I'm saying? But yeah. So they threw a sycamore in. That's also, I think, across the pond, that's called a plane tree. I think. But yeah. By the way, I think it was Austin. Should I, I guess, Toward a Natural Forest, like, are you suggesting that book? Is that a book I should pick up? I didn't even know that there was a crisis that rocked the U.S. Forest Service. I may actually pick this up if you think that the book is any good. In Canada, it is $22.94. Oh, there's no price at Amazon.ca or Chapters. What? Oh, but Indigo Books and Music has it for $23. So it's probably like a hardback, right? Jesus, there's only one left. I'll take a look at it. If I'm patient, you could mail me your copy in some weeks or months. Sure. Currently in storage. Okay. But is it a kind of book? Some of you know that in January I'm thinking of kicking my Patreon page into action, and one of the things that I have for all the tiers is a monthly book club where every month we look at a different book together. Everyone buys the book, not through my Amazon whatever it is, because they kicked me off the program because I didn't sell enough stuff. But everyone would like buy that month's previously arranged book. I've been buying books ahead of this, thinking that someone's actually going to patronize me in January. Is it good enough to add into that program, Austin? It's not ideologically neutral. Okay. Well, actually, that might that might cause discussion. I don't know. Maybe not the best for that though. Okay. But yeah, I'd like to read it. No, why not? Because I have always said, and by always I mean that's complete bombast. For years now, I've said that I wish we had a Canadian Forest Service, like along the same lines. Because I'd be all over that. I'd be involved, like, boom, right there, all over it. I think, the thing is, I didn't know that there was a crisis in the U.S. Forest Service. I know that it's not the most sort of up to date of organizations, but I don't think that what it does is bad, But I think that, it's funny because I grew up Canadian, right? So I grew up thinking that we're better than you guys, even though it's not true. We're just brought up that way. We're brought up to think that, we're whatever. It doesn't matter. But Americans The United States is awash in things that we would never do up here, and that we would be like, "What are you doing?" But then there's like this, like in a wash of like this weird Americana. There's something brilliant, and then there's another thing that's brilliant, and then like we would never have made the Hoover Dam. We don't have the audacity to do that because the Hoover Dam is audacious. It is audacity in concrete. It is balls to the wall. Just, it's ridiculous. And we would never have had the imagination to do that, you know? And I think that the U.S. Forest Service is something that, you know, I kind of wish we had one. Obviously, there's a need for something like that. Hold on. Nick says, not quite about trees, more about plants, but you'll be taking a botany course for your next semester in college. Nice. The day that the switch got flipped in my head, that put me on the road towards caring deeply about the environment and to being into the bushcrafty stuff. It was a day spent listening to a botanist. I don't remember what she looked like. I remember she was maybe 10 years older than me. I was 16 at the time, and she had a sexy voice, man. But it wasn't even that. She was just the window dressing for the event. You know, that I glanced down into the valley and just something went click. Like just the view of the valley, something went click. And I didn't immediately become all like, save the trees or anything, but I just sort of started this long sort of curving trajectory to where I am today, and God knows where I'll be tomorrow, you know, or next year. Hopefully by next year I'll have paddled a few lakes. But yeah. Hold on. Oh, I think it sounds like Austin is leaving. Have yourself a great Thanksgiving. I did, actually. I did back in October when Thanksgiving should be. But yeah, I think you guys have Thanksgiving this week, don't you? So, Austin, if I don't speak to you, have a great one. I think the little one is feeling better. I haven't been called away. When I came downstairs, she was starting to drop back off to sleep. You can't have both universal health care and a National Forest Service. Choose one. Well, I will definitely keep the universal health care. Hike with Mike. Yeah, I know that the U.S. Forest Service is really underfunded. The thing is, I know. I didn't say that I wish that we had an underfunded agency. But you know what? Even NASA is underfunded. Yeah, people think that NASA gets a huge budget, and it gets like 0.01% of the national budget or something. It's tiny, tiny, tiny. If NASA was funded the way Americans think that NASA is funded, you'd be living on Mars today. You'd have a space station circling Jupiter. You'd have a jumping off point for exploration of the stars. You know? So, I mean, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that the U.S. Forest Service is underfunded. Simon, Le Grand and the Manic hydroelectric complexes are not like the Hoover Dam, though. I mean, they're big and they're obnoxious and they're you know, they're impressive, but not like that. Not like that. And like, you know, it's got that real sort of early 20th century style to it. You know, it's got that architecture that's, you know, it was at a time when everything wasn't just made completely functional. There was room for like design and curlicues and a couple of statues and beautifully carved rock or concrete or whatever it is for the buildings, you know. Thanksgiving is the 28th, so it's in a couple of days. You don't want to live on Mars, hike with Mike? Yep, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. We got to save this planet instead of abandoning it for another one. I get that. I feel the same way. I just if NASA hadn't essentially stopped Apollo and then kind of stopped everything, God knows where we'd be today. And because so many of the things that we use today are indirect results of the space program, the healthier NASA is, the better off we are with a lot of the stuff that we have in the day to day. Which, by the way, is not me talking about trees. Wow, it's 11:07. We'll go to 11:30. How does that sound to everyone? Really, you think Legrand and Manic are more impressive than the Hoover Dam? Maybe I don't remember them right. Maybe I don't remember them right or something, but like they're more modern, aren't they? Like I remember that Legrand is just sort of like a big. It's wider if I remember correctly, and then it's just like just look it up. That's just like a bunch of I don't know. I shouldn't be doing this. I should be paying more attention to you guys than. Welcome to Hydro Quebec. Discover no. Welcome to Legrand 1 generating station in Bay James. That's a video. Oh, it's a Hydro Quebec video. Oh, I don't want propaganda. Images. The thing is, that's more modern and it's more conventional. Like, if you look down the Hoover Dam and you don't lose your lunch, it's terrifyingly tall. Austin says, "Oh, Austin, I can climb the highest tree in the world and not see a curve on the flat Earth." Okay. I know you're trolling me. James Fry says, "True, but I would rather NASA didn't invent instant coffee." Well, I don't know how to answer that because I'm not into instant coffee either. I'm not a big coffee drinker. But a lot of bushcrafters throw stop yawning. Thank you. A lot of bushcrafters throw a couple of things of instant coffee into their kit because it's so much less trouble to make. But Simone says we're already living in the largest known spaceship, but we're not taking care of it. You're absolutely right. Absolutely. Spaceship Earth. Nick, were you agreeing to him not drinking coffee? Or were you agreeing to him saying that we got to take care of Spaceship Earth? Bye bye beer. Yeah, that was good. It was a pumpkin beer. There's just a touch of the pumpkin flavor, but it's not cloying. It's not overpowering. Is Zach Fudge still around? No, he was on the previous version of this of tonight's live stream. It's neither here nor there. You don't drink coffee, but you love cocoa. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I don't think I love cocoa. I've had I'll have a hot chocolate every now and again, but it's not one of my favorite drinks. Coffee is not either, unless it's like cowboy coffee or camp coffee. And you know what? It's funny because I make the missus's coffee every morning in one of those those mocha pots. It's the stovetop thing that you screw together. If that had been the way I had discovered coffee, I would probably be a coffee monster. I like the way I like the whole pageantry around making it. but how you have to feather the heat. Sorry guys, but I'm tired as hell. I like, and it maintains all these sort of the essential oils, whereas like that stupid paper filter just sucks all that away. Um, Let me just see. Austin is buzzed from some white wine. Fair enough. I'm more of a red wine guy myself, but if you're getting buzzed, I'm okay with that because I just drank 660 mils of the 6% beer. So I'm okay with that. Hey, Dennis, how's it going with you? This is my second live stream of the night. Man, it was going great, and then I had to rush off because the little one was puking, and we didn't know if it was an allergic reaction to something or not. But it just seems like she was sick. She is. She's sleeping now, so I came back on just because I don't like leaving all sudden like that, Um, but yeah, I'm sorry I missed most. I've been drinking beer. I'm sorry I missed most of your live stream tonight. I'm glad I got on at the end there. But I wish I had seen the actual meat of it, so I'm going to try and watch some of it tomorrow. Guys, because Canoe Hound's live stream is on the same night as mine, he starts earlier than me, and we really, really overlap fairly often. If I don't get home early enough to like sort of watch and sometimes get on, I'll watch them the next day. Nick says, Tyler always makes me cocoa, and when he sets the mug down, he always tells me, because you're 5, here's your cocoa. That's hilarious. Hi, Mike. Don't get me wrong. We need space exploration. We are already messing with one planet, so let's not mess with another one. Fair enough. He's going hunting again tomorrow? Really? But didn't he bag something already today? I don't know how bag limits work in the States, right? Here, if I go hunting, I can take 1 deer. If I win the lottery for one of the females, then I can take 2-ish, whatever it is. I've never won the lottery for a doe, so it's not relevant to me. But I know in some states you can take like all kinds of deer. And I'm like, holy crap! If I could take like 4, I would be eating deer meat all year. Hold on. He fell asleep just before your Nick Hyatt. Oh, hope she's okay. You have 2 kids. Oh, yeah, Dennis, I thought you knew. Yeah, I've got Cody, who you've seen in a lot of my videos. She's 8. And then I have a little girl who's going to be 11 months old in 2 days. And she has a couple of really heavy food allergies, one of which is extremely life-threatening. And so whenever she's not feeling well, we go through this whole weird, like, what did she eat for lunch? What did she eat for supper? Has she, a big one is, did she pick something off the floor? Like if I give Camille a croissant for breakfast, anything with egg is terrible. So like as soon as I give Camille her breakfast, I sweep up the kitchen floor. I clean the kitchen floor so often in the day because I'm on parental leave, right? So it's me and a kid all day. I'm just constantly like worrying because I don't want anything to happen to her, James Fry made some red wine from grapes this summer. Interesting. Oh, and then you distilled it to make, re-fermented it to make grappa. How did it turn out? On the notes of flat earth trolling, says Austin, I have a cousin who's a fellow ham radio operator. I remember that about you. The amount of evidence based in the hobby on the earth being round that he didn't accept was crazy. Oh, he really thinks that it's flat? Yikes. Austin says deer hunting is sometimes based down to the county. Okay. Tyler's phone died. So Austin says that the regulations are different. Okay. Well, he has a combo tag and bought a doe tag as well. He got one for his combo tag, but he can get another one as long as it's a doe. It's a hell of a lot easier to get a doe than a stag. We get a tag per year. 2 if you go to Anticosti Island, but that's expensive as hell. Like with Mike, says hi to Tyler. Oh, in fact, says except on Anticosti Island, yeah. Yeah, Dennis, I know. I rage at the universe for doing that to someone who's so young she hasn't even pissed anyone off yet, you know? TV or laptop, iPad or something, Simo, okay. Jake's back. Hey, gonna set up the hot tent probably Friday, now that you have a decent yard here in Fitzroy Harbor. Jake Levesque, here is my email address. I'm putting it right here. Piss, I didn't write it right. There you go. Because I hid your email address before, but everyone here has already had my address like 3 times now. So, Austin, there may be an island in Nova Scotia with an open season. I don't know. I don't know other provinces. I know a bit about Ontario. I know, like I think in Southern Ontario, you can't use a rifle, but you can use a shotgun. You can get up to 4 tags on Anticosti. How the hell do you pull that off, Simo? Not like I'd want to pay for 4 tags on Anticosti Island. I'm going to throw in that kind of money around. I may as well go to Africa. Get me a kudu. Buy me a nice new rifle and 375 Holland mag. And then go to Africa and bag me a kudu. Would not bag me a lion, would not bag me an elephant, but would totally bag me a kudu. Just looking up 2319. We're going to 11:30. By the way, for guys who came on late, we're going to 11:30 tonight because I got off to run upstairs in a panic, and because some people are just joining now. I would like to reiterate that to anyone who hasn't, before my live stream on Tuesday nights, visiting Dennis at Canoe Hound Adventures' live streams are very good. It's a very good idea. That's enough of that. Jake, I put my email address down and said you can have it. I'll put it back again just to be on the safe side. Ready? Boom. Paste and send. Jesse.corbet@gmail.com. Canoe, I don't know. I think I was already upstairs dealing with kitty puke when you may have gone off. All right, see you later, Mr. Oh no, you got another 10 minutes, Dennis. You buy 2 texts in the book for Anticosti. After fulfilling the text, you can get 2 more only on site. I did not know that. I did not know that. So you're saying it might actually be worth the Anticosti is expensive though, and the deer are small. That's one of the reasons why I got a shit ton of them. It's okay because now I really need to prove that my channel is not for kids. So okay. Nice, Jake. For those of you who are not checking, Jake is getting a new Woodlore style knife. My favorite knife profile or style. Yeah, that sounds cool. My first custom knife was a Woodlore Desert Ironwood scales, and the sheath has a loop for a fire steel. Yeah, that sounds good. Who are you getting it from? Yeah, Dennis. Yeah, I had to rush off, as you well know. So I don't think anyone who was going to raid me could have raided me. It sucks. Sucks for me. Red wine tastes okay. Whoa. Hold on. Ba-da-dum. Austin. Okay, good night, Austin. Have a good night. I'll see you next week. Jake says a hand-forged woodlore for about $60. Holy crap, dude. All right, that's a better price than I spent. James Fry, the red wine tastes good fresh, but I'm giving it 6 months. Yeah. Been making it for 8 years now, and for the grappa, that's 60% like a fine quality varnish remover or all-purpose cleaner. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I've never tried making wine or anything. My dad used to make beer and wine, but I don't know if he still does. Or if now maybe they're just making wine. I don't know. But like it was more like, kit wine and kit beer. You buy your whatever, put it together, and then stick it under the stairs for 6 months. So I don't know if it's really any good. I used to have this dream of owning a winery one day, but the numbers of millions you need to make that really work are terrifying. It's not like, oh, I won 2 million, I'm going to open a winery. No, it's like, oh, I won 30 million, and maybe I can get some funding. Yeah. Jake says, friend of mine, turns out his uncle makes knives in Ottawa, and he just found out about it. Wow, that's pretty cool. And he says that his wife says that he's got a knife and axe problem. I may have an axe problem. I don't have much of a knife problem. I have more knives than I will use at this point, so I've been sort of giving away some, like, Moras and stuff. I'm going to keep my Garberg, which is here, because it's a Mora with a full tang. I'm going to keep my my Woodlore clone because it was the first custom knife I ever got. And I'm going to keep my my Felkneven F1. I would love to get the F1 in like COS or COS, however you pronounce that steel. But for now, I'm fine with my laminated, what is it, VG10. It's still a pretty damn good steel. Haha, Jake, I tell you every time I get one, it's a solution. Hilarious. Cash in on ice wine. Dude, there's ice wine. Yeah, we definitely, I live in the right spot for ice wine, that's for sure. Oh, Jake, that Wetterlings, yeah, it's funny, because I'm subscribed to Wetterlings' Instagram, and it's like they're still making axes for the local market or for people who walk into their store or something. Because I keep seeing like they have almost nothing on their website anymore, and I haven't seen a Wetterlings, like a new Wetterlings for sale anywhere in a dog's age. But if you go by their Stop it. If you go by their Instagram page, it's like they're still like. Shut up, Jesse. It's like they're still a going concern rather than just producing for Gransfors now. So, Jake, you live about an hour and a half from me. Anyways, I give you my email address. Send me pics of your tent so I can drool over them and wish I had one. Did you get one from like the Canadian Outdoor Equipment Co-op or something? the Canadian Outdoor Equipment Company or something. Yeah, Holtzbrucks are at MEC now. Yeah, I saw that. There's well, as you probably know, there's a mountain equipment. Wait, at MEC. Yeah, I just saw that in their site. It's funny because when I was voting for the board of governors or whatever the hell it was 2 years ago, I said, get better axes, get Halts or Gransfors. And you're 20 minutes west of Ottawa. Okay. Oh yeah, so you're close to me. So I'm glad to hear that they've actually got some Halts in at MEC. That's good. Yeah, Halts is making sort of real inroads into Canada, it seems, which is good because we need a more affordable competitor to Gransfors because Gransfors are now, like, the prices have gone up over the past few years, and they're kind of priced like custom axes now, almost. No, I still think they're brilliant axes. I love them. Gransfors is my favorite axe company, but I'm not spending that kind of money at this point. Not unless I'm buying like a Yulia Kaltov axe or like a Liam Hoffman or something. I have dreams of buying a Northman. Spending that kind of money and just they're so gorgeous. But I'm not rich. Yeah, and there's the thing, Jake. That's why Gransfors can charge more, is because they're constantly sold out. They're like the Rickenbacker of the axe world. They charge what the market will bear. And it's like every axe is sold almost as soon as it comes off the assembly line, off the the trip hammer. Not a trip hammer. They don't use trip hammers. Power hammer. James, you do a lot of wood chopping. I live in Montreal, where there's a ban on wood burning stoves, which is too bad because I bought my house just as that ban went into effect because I really wanted to put a wood burning stove in the living room. Forget about it. But what do you used to chop with? Are you Sorry, guys. It's just now it's 11:30, so I'm like, are you one of these guys like me who's like, oh yeah, man, I got a Gransfors maul, or do you just use like an old axe, or you have like a Gilpin or one of those British? What's that British axe with like the real round sweep into the lug? What the hell's it called? So damn nice. I want one so hard, but man, once you add the shipping in, forget about it. Yeah, Jake, with tax, you paid $200 for your small forest axe. They're more than that now, right? With tax, I paid like maybe $189 when I bought mine. The Lestrade Bushman axe I would have bought just for. Okay, see you later, Dennis. I'm gonna be. Oh yeah, it's 11:30. Okay, I'm going to answer Jake, and I'm going to say, Tyler, what? And then I'm going to Jake. You store all the axes? Sure, send me some pics, and then I'm gonna sign off. I think the Bushman axe is really cool, especially now that it's gone. Right now that it's discontinued. If I had the opportunity to get one, I would probably grab that. But I don't think it beats the small forest axe. My small forest axe is my favorite axe because I know it. It's my favorite axe because when I bought it, I chose that axe because of frame mirrors. Let's face it, a lot of people did. A lot of people, the reason why it's all over YouTube is because Ray Mears made it famous. But the thing is, that doesn't mean it's a bad axe. It's a fabulous tool. It's designed perfectly for me. Oh, nice. You're using a nice old 70-year-old axe, James. Sweet. But Jake, a lot of the Wetterlings were better splitting axes because they just made more of a wedge shaped axe across the board. All right, I'm gonna go put the old CPAP machine on. It's 11:32. So thanks to everyone who's been hanging out with me. Sorry that I interrupted my live stream tonight. I'm hoping to hell my poor little kid sleeps through the night and doesn't puke anymore. And that's enough of that. So see you guys next week, I guess. I hope. For those of you who I haven't seen before, James Fry, Jake Levesque, please hang out more often. You both have already added some important stuff to the chat on the side. I'm glad to have met you both. And I'll see you all next week. Bye.